Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated road solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast nobody's favorite person, Ms. Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie was recently at a fancy restaurant in Malibu. Actually, she was at Nobu. I've been to two of their locations. Fantastic. Super expensive. Don't do it. But when she was at the Nobu in Malibu, she spotted Nick Jonas and his wife, Priyanka, thank you, Chopra, okay? So Rosie decided to interrupt their dinner to say hi. The only reason I say that is they didn't call her over. She decided to go over and say hi to the family. All right, fair enough. Well, she warmed everything up by telling Nick that he was great in the TV show Kingdom, which I was unaware of, but that's how she opened. Like, hey, Nick, good to see you. You were great in the movie Kingdom. And then she told Priyanka, quote, hey, I know your dad. Well, Priyanka was a bit suspicious and asked Rosie who she thought her father was. So Rosie explained, oh, I know Deepak Chopra, the 75-year-old kind of new age medicine-y author, right? He's made the rounds through TV.
Oh, yeah.
Not only is Deepak not her father, they're not related at all. You see, Chopra has a fairly common Indian last name. That'd be like me meeting Will Smith and going, Ted, I met your uncle.
I met your brother.
Okay, so, but here's...
All right, I'm not tall. I can't...
Here's what made it worse. Priyanka's actual father, Ashok, he died 9 years ago. Oh, yeah. So she let her know that in a moment. That's why she was like, you know my father, right? Because Rosie's saying to prostitute, oh, yeah. She went there and she's like, that's not my dad. It's just a last name. So Rosie tweeted out her apologies. I love that. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Patrick, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Let's go interior decorating.
Well, we're not going to butt today, but we are going into the urethra, which is much worse. As the story goes, an experimental man had to be rushed to the hospital after jamming something into his penis. The unnamed 31-year-old man left doctors astonished when he came in complaining of pain in his privates. When medics gave him an x-ray, they found the object had moved all the way into his bladder, where it then became stuck. It later emerged that he had pushed the object up his urethra in what they call a bizarre bid for sexual kicks. Well, in cringeworthy scenes, the victim's family had even gone to the hospital with him in the city of Fuzhou in China. I'm sure I said that wrong. Now, doctors were able to operate on him and remove the object from his bladder. It is not known if the incident will leave any lasting damage. So the worst part is his family didn't know exactly why he was in so much pain. The doctors do the x-ray and explain, yeah, your kid here, and granted, he's 31, but still, your kid here showed an object into his urethra, which is now trapped in his bladder. The question is, what did he insert into his urethra? Was it a tiny padlock, a house key, a sewing needle, or tweezers? So a padlock, house key, sewing needle, or tweezers.
Oh, man.
By the way, just so you understand something, all 4 of those options, all of those have been inserted into the male urethra and cause problems, but only one of them applies to this particular story.
Oh. Sounds like a fun Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Ted, what do you think?
It was a Friday night that this happened.
I don't know.
Oh, all right. My bad.
No, I just said that.
Yeah.
If you're going to put stuff in your urethra, let's face it, 88% of the time it's a Friday.
Just because it seems insane, I'm going padlock.
Padlock.
Maybe it's one of those little luggage guys.
I see what you're saying.
I'm going house key.
All right, I'll go tweezers then.
Tweezers. Let's go all the way
Mix
around.
it
See who
up.
gets it.
Let's mix it up.
Okay, we're going to find out what this guy jumped up his urethra there. Was it a tiny padlock, a house key, a sewing needle, or tweezers next?
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories interior tech rating on Profilers. We got a man who jammed something in his penis. It's stuck in his bladder. Trying to get a little sexual fulfillment there. That did not work out. Doctors were able to remove said object. Question was it a tiny padlock, a house key, a sewing needle, or tweezers?
Yes, indeed. And let's see. Patrick went with tweezers. Incorrect. Miles Montgomery, you went with the old house key.
I said house key.
D. Ted Smith, you went with the padlock, saying like maybe it's one of those tiny ones on the suitcase?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Get out of here. It was one of those little tiny ones. You look at the x-ray, it is very clearly a padlock. And I kept thinking to myself, why would you put a padlock in your penis? I just don't understand. Like, I
can't believe you can do it.
That's
impressive.
People are crazy.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, Armageddon. The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, you're going to have Trevor Noah, the Jimmies,
Fallon Kimmel,
Seth Meyers,
okay,
Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is right there. The title. These guys have teams of talented writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
You put a Band-Aid on it already?
I know I should.
Turns out that Viagra could be a life-saving drug for dogs. So Viagra has come up with some new slogans, like, the dog days are over, but the dog nights are just beginning.
Need Ted Smith.
Yeah, I'll say it you.
Fallon.
A new study found that Viagra could be a life-changing drug for dogs. This inspired Viagra to come up with some new slogans. Viagra, the dog days are over, but the dog nights are just beginning.
The 3 dog nights.
That's what I was thinking.
What's this other one? Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. According to a new survey, 59% of Americans prefer the toilet paper to be hung so that the next sheet comes from over the roll. And somehow that 59% are still all married to the other 41%.
Kimmel.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel.
Myers.
According to a new survey, 59% of Americans prefer for toilet paper to be hung so that the next sheet comes from over the roll. And somehow that 59% are all married to the other 41%.
A journalist in the Ukraine was reporting the news on the Russia crisis in 6 different languages. He also knows 6 different ways to say, I'm ready to leave Ukraine now.
The Ted Smith.
Fallon.
Valid.
Well, this is going viral. A journalist in Ukraine was reporting the news on the Russia crisis in 6 different languages.
There's been a war with Russian-backed forces. Y mañana, Kovo brandió anuncio de retirada. La guerra semble probable und ein Vorwand für Russland in die Ukraine einzumarschieren.
He also knows 6 different ways to say, I'm ready to leave Ukraine now. Okay.
I heard yesterday that apparently he did it in 6 languages. The joke was, he just kept saying, where is the closest bathroom? I really have to go.
How do you say beer?
Right.
I like he was like Luxembourgish. Like, you're just showing off.
I know.
It's a micro country. Not that micro things aren't just as important.
Viagra helps Luxembourg.
Family Dollar has run into some trouble after a rat infestation was found at one of its distribution centers. But the good news is now they have a new store, Dollar Cat Toys.
Ted Smith.
Yes.
Found.
Oh, sorry. I was like, the Miles was just saying.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. You got a cat? Give it a dead rat. So numbers are out, and they say more than half of unemployed American men in their 30s have criminal records. Also vinyl ones.
Seth Meyers?
Yeah, Myers.
Yeah.
According to the latest numbers, more than half of unemployed American men in their 30s have criminal records, also vinyl ones.
Wasn't that yesterday? You guys were talking about vinyl records?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Guilty.
Thurl, did you ever watch The Office?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. So say if you didn't, I'm going to tell an Office story if you want to get that damn Band-Aid already. Bleeding all over Miles. Hope you got your shots, Miles.
Yep.
All right, so Kevin from The Office, right? He's famous for a lot of things. Number one, being an awesome drummer. Mm-hmm. But also that scene where he spills the chili.
Yes. One of the funniest scenes I've seen.
You ever thought, that chili seemed good, looked good?
It did look good.
You know what? With that said, other than being super runny, it's hard to look at chili and not think that's going to be good.
Chili in and among itself already looks the way. It looks like you already chewed your food and spit it back in a bowl.
It's also one of the few things that a lot of people can make, and they have their own way of making it, and it's always good.
Right.
Yeah, well, you're right. You're 100% right.
I've had it with corn in it. I was like, this is great. You know, like all kinds of different stuff.
It looks good. Basically, so a lot of people, they were like, wonder how he made, is there an actual recipe? Well, now there is an official recipe. It's hidden in the Peacock streaming service terms of use section.
All right.
No. Basically, the boyfriend of a TikToker, Mackenzie Floyd, he figured it out somehow, and she posted a video with herself scrolling through it. So basically, if you go to Peacock's, you don't have to have it, but if you go to their official site, just go to the bottom of the page, click Terms of Use. You can find it under heading number 9, Third-Party Authentication, Third-Party Services.
And they give you the recipe for the chili.
Which, right. Now we don't know if that was actually,
right.
I mean, more than likely it was stunt chili.
Right. Stunt chili.
Or you would just grab.
Right.
You know what I mean? Do they, I don't know. I should know this. I should look it up. I want to say back in the day, we were talking about Norm from Cheers yesterday. That was always a big thing was they couldn't have beer. But I'm not sure if that's still a rule. I know it's
on set?
Yeah, a lot of times, it was a rule on the set, or you remember the Heineken commercial a few years ago with NPH? Neil Patrick Harris?
Yes.
Right. And he was technically the commercial, I'm not supposed to drink real beer. And he was he was playing around. But I don't know now if you can actually have real beer on. I mean, I'm sure you can have it somewhere around the set. But can you be on screen filming and drinking real beer?
I think this is how it works. No. But if you're drinking real beer, no one's going to know. You know what I mean? So if I'm on set and we're going to do the scene, if I can nail it in one take.
All right, so that's the whole thing. Can you nail it in a take? Because, you could tell when somebody's had, a couple beers.
I think the way to tell if we're drinking real beer or the fake stuff would be just watch how they edit it. And if you see that the beer, as it goes back and forth between two characters speaking, if the beer has gone down, my money says that's a real beer.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're sitting there for 2 hours for a 90-second scene. But when you go back, if that beer is lower, I'm saying that's a real beer.
Yeah, I don't know. Right, and you read a lot of stuff, too. I know on a lot of movie sets and stuff, people that don't smoke cigarettes, they just
smoke cloves.
Yeah, there's other. I had a friend that he just wanted to quit smoking. So there's other herbs and stuff that aren't as harsh as nicotine.
Right.
I mean, now granted, you're not going to get a buzz or anything. You're just going to get the sensation of smoking. And I want to say they have fake weed, too. Because you hear stories, man, who was? I think it was McConaughey told the story about he was doing a movie with Snoop. And like McConaughey's an unabashed stoner.
Yeah, of course.
But he was like, I wasn't expecting when Snoop handed it to me to be actual weed, and got him pretty high.
And when you say that out loud, that sounds ridiculous.
That would be a good life goal, though, to smoke some weed with Snoop.
Sure.
Yeah. I think I'd rather smoke with Willie.
Either or. I feel like
Tommy
Willie would be more chill. Snoop's going to want to do stuff.
You know what I mean? It's going to be more intense. Just exactly what you're saying. He's going to want to do stuff.
Come on, homie, let's get in the car. No, man, I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah. And
can we do your Corona thing and just chill on the beach?
God dang it. That bucket annoys the crap out of me. He's just handing them out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Bob Saget. Everybody's still, getting over the death of Bob Saget. Now, this one's interesting. So there's do you guys know Designer? Rapper?
No. I've heard the name.
All right. There you go.
It's spelled kind of different.
It is. So he's got a new one out, Bacon, right? And in Bakin, right. Bacon. Bob Saget's in the video. They had shot it. It was turns out this ended up being the last thing he actually filmed.
Really?
Yeah. Saget's in the kitchen cooking bacon. There's a porn star next to him, Kendra Sutherland, who, yeah, you'll recognize her. I think she's the library girl. But Designer, he said she's famous because she filmed a porn in a library.
Oh, I know who you're talking about then, yeah.
I did not see that movie.
Right, he was and they asked him, and he was, this is what he said. He was Full House, Nick at Night, Bob Saget used to rock me to sleep at night, man. It was a star-struck moment to see him bumping my music. Yeah, it's just crazy. That's one of the last things you'll see.
Wow.
It's also weird, I think sometimes you don't realize the impact you have on other people. So it's right. You're not going to take. I'm not going to guess where Designer's from, but you're not going to take a younger rapper and be oh, it's got to be a massive Saget fan.
That's the last thing you'd think. I don't think anyone has a problem with Saget, but you wouldn't think he's oh no, man, that's my boy.
Yeah, I think for my age bracket again, because I didn't see the original. The second version of his show, the show was almost over.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Bob Newhart. And I don't know that I've seen him do a ton of... I've seen clips and stuff. This Newhart guy was on it.
Right. Oh, he was hilarious.
Yeah, he should do another show.
I don't know if he has that yet. Just, no.
Oh, he's
up there, man.
I know he's older, but it seems right, because what was that, the Oscars a few years ago where they did the in memorial thing? And it was him standing there, and he was no, I'm still alive. Speaking of the Oscars, basically, look, they're going to present 8 awards you don't really care about before the actual broadcast and edit them in. Here's the thing about award shows, and I say it, right, because there was a lot of stuff today, all the numbers came out for sports over the weekends, right? And award shows and all-star games, to me, are outdated. All right? So the Oscars, number one, it's cool and stuff, but it was also a time for Hollywood to be on display.
Absolutely.
And people would be once a year, you'd see these stars, because outside of page 6 on the...
And the Sun? Mm-hmm. Is that the Sun?
Sun or...
National Enquirer, whatever.
Right. Outside of tabloids, you just didn't see these people. But with social media and TMZ, and I'm not taking a shot at TMZ, I look at TMZ all the time. You just see these people all the time more. So I just don't know that you still have that urge. And that's why All-Star, the baseball All-Star game was started. So it'd be what do the guys in the other league look like?
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's this would be cool. We could see them all play. But it's so that was the thing. A lot more people, 41, watch the Daytona 500 as opposed to the NBA All-Star game. It's well, yeah, the Daytona 500 is their biggest event, and it counted. NBA All-Star game, I watched the 500, and then I turned on the All-Star game.
Right, because it doesn't count. It has no impact on anything. It's fun to watch. There's no defense, it is what it is.
Just Steph Curry.
So, I will say, watching him shoot from wherever and turn around before it goes in, I was that's awesome. But I feel the same way about the Oscars. And look, they'll still pull a great number. People will watch them. I just don't know that attraction, because they're always making these things we got to get back to where we were, and it's
you can't.
I don't know that you are.
Because you said, part of the allure of the Oscars, even when I was growing up, to your point, there were 3 networks. If you did not see the movie in the theater, you didn't see it. Even when cable came out, it was still... 2 months to check out whatever movie. But the whole point was they were bigger than life. It's exciting. It's glamorous. Well, now, and with social media, it's not even, to me, it's less to do with like TMZ or People, because people have always covered celebrities, but the fact that they have their own social media handles and all that, like, you hear from them about everything all the time, and in the end, you realize this person's either a turd or, in spite of their career and the glamour that goes with it, there's nothing interesting about this person. So at least with the Oscars, you had one night, not so, kind of like stay in character. Right, you show up, you're a celebrity, people love you, the flash bulbs go off, and you understood to ham it up in that moment. Well, now, I've read everything you've had to say every goddamn day, whether I want to or not. Right. So you're not interesting anymore.
And going to the movies was part of that experience.
Sure.
And it was like a live show. You know what I mean? Like you're getting food and popcorn, you can't control the sound, you can't pause it. It's going to be big and in front of you, the sound system's going to be great, and that's part of that whole experience. If you don't have that experience, like, it's not that watching it at home isn't great as well, but
it's not the experience.
The Oscars is based on that movie theater experience of grabbing the kids, grabbing the popcorn. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think right, and some people are going back to the theaters. Like, I don't ever think movie theaters are going to go away.
I don't think they will either, but I think, like, bookstores will be fewer and farther between.
Correct. And you're right. Like, I watched a movie this past weekend, but halfway through I stopped it, I peed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I probably made a snack or something.
Right.
And it's a different thing. I also think, too, a part of it is fashion. Like, some of the brand, like, I never heard, like, the main way I found out about a lot of fashion brands was through rap music, right?
Sure.
Because the dudes would talk about
They'll
it, right?
name check everybody, right?
Right, exactly. You know, like Gucci watches, like sweater, like, I had never heard of this stuff. But I also think that was part of the reason the Oscars was such a big television event was you were like,
the clothes.
Right. You know, like, they're wearing Saint Laurent or
and now no one dresses up to go anywhere.
Right.
They don't go anywhere.
Right, but it was like a cool thing. Like, wonder what they're wearing. Now, the Golden Globes, you get wasted. I'll still watch that one. And people will still watch. Don't get me wrong. Again, the Oscars are still very important. But these cutting, like, let's cut this out. Let's cut that out. That'll bring viewers back. Like, those people are kind of gone. Movie buffs are going to be there, and people that just like looking at celebrities on TV.
That's it.
Which, who doesn't? Speaking of old school stuff
Old
coming.
stool.
Old
So
stool.
it's sitting in the corner of the toilet. Oh, that's old
Just
stool.
keeps getting bigger because it's soaking all that toilet water up.
Yeah. Well, that's what, what's his name? The old cowboy. He died with a lot of old stool in him.
This
He's
is like
famous
the
for
worst
cowboy
game
movies.
show. John Wayne?
Yeah.
That's the clue. Welcome back to Jeopardy. The clue. Bing! This famous cowboy died with a lot of old stool in his body. Who is John Wayne? You're correct.
I think he was kind of famous for it.
What, the impacted waist?
Yeah. Seriously.
I'm
it's
not
like
a John
reason-
Wayne fan. I just feel like I'd remember part of his legacy was all the stool trapped in his...
Well, I think if you get colonoscopies, right?
Yeah.
What's the one where they flush out? But, like, it's like at a doctor's office, they're putting a tube, but there's, like, a lot of water.
I don't think they do it the way you're moving your hand.
Yeah.
You're doing more of a plunger. I don't think that's what they do. I'm not a doctor, but
Although it's never been proven, it was rumored that the actor John Wayne had 40 pounds of impacted feces in his colon and died of colon cancer.
That's a lot.
Ted throws his hands up in victory.
Wow.
Yeah!
I'm just saying. Like, trust me, like, there's somewhere, like, I don't know that it's a fact, but I'm like, I've heard people talk about this, and, like, John Wayne was kind of, like, famous for it. Well, it's like I always talk about Lombardi. Right? Lombardi passed away because he was so weird about having anybody look at his rectum that he wouldn't get the test done. And he ends up dying from that.
It's a doctor, man.
It is, but also you're talking, the 60s and stuff, and people are like, I ain't letting anybody back there. Like,
nobody looks at my backside. Yeah. We play football, and that's all we do.
Well, let's be honest, his Packers only ran about 3 plays. They ran them very, very well.
Mm. He wanted to call them the Impacteds, but instead they just went with Packers. I see. It's all coming together now.
Let's see. Good news, Kraken fans. They're not playing tonight.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think they played last night either.
No.
They were there. Right.
It's an expansion team. Just having fun with it now. Late night tonight, though, if you're a rock fan, check out James Corden. He has on Dave Grohl. Okay. If you're just a fan of Awesome Blondes, he also has on Hillary Duff.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Pennsylvania couple is busted stealing over $1,000 in candles from the CVS. Meanwhile, a man with cocaine in his butt cheeks refused to stop clenching and undress. San Diego man making protein shake while driving stabs himself in the neck. Japanese police looking for whoever stole a bunch of guardrails. Not good if you get in a wreck. And a Florida man tells cops his girlfriend was beating him 50 Shades of Grey style. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
Top story, we go to Japan where they're dealing with a crime spree. Recently in the area near Tokyo, they've gotten several complaints of thefts. But they're not stealing money, cars, or other fancy wares. No, our culprits are attacking the roadways, making off with several yards of guardrails. Officials aren't speculating about a motive, but the size and frequency of the thefts indicates that there are multiple people involved in the thefts, and people are whispering that, you know what, they're probably just breaking it down for scrap metal.
Sure.
So, but guardrails, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I feel like you just get more trouble with that.
Right. Just the dimensions of it don't quite
and the fact that they're there. If they're there, like, hey, man, they serve a purpose.
Right. Can we not? Can we just have this rule? In other news, good news, folks. The FDA has just approved the first condom created with the intent for anal sex. It's being marketed as a universal condom that can be used for anal sex as well as vaginal intercourse.
But again, they'll know your intent when you have to ask for it, right? It's usually behind the counter. Say, man, I need a box of Magnums, right? And they reach out. No, not those. The ones to the left. Oh, somebody getting knee deep tonight.
I mean, that can't be a new thing. There's a lot of people that have been using condoms just for that. For years.
They have been, but the FDA, they said these are specifically designed to reduce the transmission of this, that, and the other. So the other condoms are better than, not. These apparently are better than the condoms, but again, like if that's your goal, like, yeah, I need a scuba suit for the wind tunnel. You know what I'm saying?
Can you grab a box of condoms from the back door, please?
You know what I'm saying?
Back room.
The back room, of course.
Things getting frisky tonight.
The brown box, please.
Yeah. You need some of the VIP room condoms. You know what I'm saying?
Can we get a price check for this guy right here? Yeah. He's getting freaky tonight. Must be his anniversary, his birthday. Yeah, just get his price check.
I mean, like, can you imagine checking out with your girl and then at the end just, like, like you put your hand, and we'll take.
Right.
She'll have the anal condoms.
Yeah. I wonder if you have to go back in. And then you get in the car and she's like, no, the other ones. So you go back, hey man,
I can't walk back in.
Can I exchange these for the the good stuff? The real good stuff. The really, really, really freaking good stuff.
Yeah, I'm just playing. I'll take some regular ones.
Are you sure, sir?
That's totally not for me.
I'm here for the butt play.
Can I get the fanny pack?
Yeah, I'm here for the fanny pack.
Whew. Over in the UK, a man is in trouble with the courts for refusing to allow authorities to search him for drugs. He was being searched on charges of possession, but his problem came when they went to search the old prison wallet, speaking of back there, believing that he was concealing cocaine. Reports say that he refused searches and, quote, clenched his buttocks multiple times as authorities
can't get in there.
Attempted to dislodge whatever he was hiding.
No!
Sir, but I have an anal condom.
Oh, okay.
He also racked up some extra charges for his conduct while in the custody.
How tight are you clenching your ass? I'm like, sir, it's going to be much easier if you just say,
cocaine.
I know it would be.
No!
I bought the fanny pack of condoms to get these stuff up there, man.
I can break a walnut with these ass cheeks.
Oh, man. A woman in Florida is facing charges for battery.
Right, guys like that is why you have to squat.
That's right. Let's see. A woman in Florida is facing charges for battery, but her victim didn't initially believe it was happening. The pair had gotten into a tense situation as she was looking for a phone and he wasn't getting up to help. She responded by slapping the man on the arm and head and back. But the man didn't attempt to stop the situation, thinking that she was merely creating an environment like 50 Shades of Grey.
Which tells you how their sex life normally is.
Right.
Oh, she's horny.
No, you're supposed to like this.
I'll be in bed in 1 minute.
When she didn't let up and he started seeing stars, he fled the apartment and called authorities. Goodness gracious, man. Yes.
The cops are like, are you stupid?
Yes. That's it for headlines with that, Mike Hawkins.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. More Men's Room is on the way next with the Men's Room Happy Hour, exclusively on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, well, we'll be all about this bitch for about 180 seconds. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.